Hi, everyone, and welcome to today's session of Minds and Money TV. I'm joined today by Will Dix, Managing Director of Trinex Minerals. Trinex Minerals, ticker ASXTX3, is an Australian-based resources company exploring for critical minerals. And as we all know, critical minerals are essential for the transition towards clean energy. And talking of critical minerals, I understand you've just announced the acquisition of a new lithium project in South Australia, Will. Welcome to the show. And can you please tell us more about that particular project?
Thanks, Kimberly. Appreciate your time with this. Sure. So we've recently announced that we're running into a project called Dudley. It's on the eastern end of Kangaroo Island in South Australia. And the reason that we are attracted to it is it's a large pegmatite system. And we know that large pegmatite systems, providing they're fertile and mineralised, are the host for large deposits. All the indications that we've seen from things like, morphs of lithium minerals in weathered rock to some of the soil geochemistry and the old data that we've put together that gives us vectors using things like ratios of potassium over rubidium and potassium over cesium, and some of those sort of baseline geological tools suggest that we're in the right kind of system and it's large. So we're excited to get in there and start exploring, and the truth will be in the drilling, and that will come in time. But yeah, we're excited to be able to earn into it. It was an easy deal to do for us, and it was relatively cheap for what's going on around at the moment. So yeah, it's another project in the pipeline, and you've got to turn over a lot of rocks to find the real thing. So we're doing that, and we're looking forward to getting started.
Yeah, absolutely. It sounds as though, sort of like all the geology is stacking up for you. You've also just announced that you've expanded the tenure around your lithium projects in the Northwestern Territory of Canada, where you had some excellent exploration results recently. Can you give us an update on what's happening there?
Sure. Exactly as you said, the Halo Uri work we did over the last Canadian summer, just winding up, was outstanding. We have a number of big mineralized systems. The lithium grades are all, north of 1.5%. We're waiting on the XRD results to delineate the spodumene content, but we're confident it's high. And this is really another one of those pipeline projects where we know we're in a mineralized system. We know the pegmatites around Yellowknife are fertile. And it was really opportunistic that we were able to get these projects. They've come through our major shareholder and a project generator that we've done a lot with, the Darouge guys, and we jumped on them fairly quickly once we knew where they were. They sit close to some of Lift's properties. Again, another pipeline for us to go looking in 2025. And as I said, you've got to keep moving projects forward to find the ones that you want to keep.
Absolutely. And you mentioned there the Darouge Geological Consulting Group. Your relationship with them and the DG Resources Management Group looks to be a key part of this agreement. How is that relationship developing? Because as we all know, relationships in this industry are very important. So how is all of that shaping up for you?
Yeah, really, really well. I first met Jody probably nearly 2 years ago when I was in Canada, and we've looked at a lot of projects together. He has a large team of project generators and of really, really good technical people, and he puts a lot of things across our desk that we don't like, and every now and again he puts some things across our desk that we really like, and this was one of those cases. So it's a strong relationship, both from a project generation point of view, but also from a fieldwork point of view, where we use some of their guys to help us in the field in Canada. They're outstanding technical geologists. They're really well trained, and Jody's also one of our major shareholders. So it's a real win-win situation for us, and long may it continue.
Absolutely. And I mean, it's always great. I mean, he may be putting stuff across your desk, and you have the opportunity to sort through it and choose which ones, which is a great way to maintain that relationship, as it were. So you mentioned your summer exploration campaign in Canada. It's obviously coming to an end. How is your exploration plan shaping up for the Australian summer, or are you predominantly Canadian focused now?
No, well, we're both, and the beauty of having continuous summer, if you like, from an exploration point of view, is we can work right around the year. And one of the good things about getting into Dudley in South Australia is that we are coming up to when all of the hay will be cut out of the paddocks. It's all on farmland. We'll have access to that over summer. Bearing in mind there'll be days we can't do work when it's super hot and there's fire bans, etc. But the plan for us is simply to get in there, get all of the geochemistry work done that we're into at the moment. Go through the statutory approvals process for drilling, and then hopefully be drilling. In a perfect world this side of Christmas. There is a few things to do on that front. But if not then early in 2025 we'll be putting drill holes into these big pegmatite systems and seeing how real they are.
Absolutely. So you get to chase the sun all year long.
Yeah, you do. But the irony of that is that in Canada, often it's easier to drill in winter. When you're up in the north, you can get everywhere in skidoos. Yeah. So it's a trade-off. But for where we are as a company at the moment, we are doing still that early stage geochemistry sampling, building up our drilling targets at some of our projects. And I think we'll be drilling Dudley before we drill in Canada. And it's easy for us. It's close to home, and those sort of things make it pretty attractive.
Yeah, absolutely. Do you want to expand? You mentioned there about the geochemistry and all the rest of it. Do you want to expand on the geology in any of the region in which you're currently exploring?
Yeah, I mean, the obvious one for us is the Great Slave Province in Canada. For South Australia, just quickly, we know we're still learning. We know we've got big pegmatite systems, but we're learning more and more about them. The pegmatites in the Northwest Territories in the Great Slave Geological Province stick out of the ground. They're mineralised. You can see spodumene at surface. We know that the province is well endowed. It's got the right kind of granites. For us, we see it as Canada's really as next emerging lithium province. Obviously, James Bay in Quebec has ticked a lot of boxes, and the guys that are working over there are doing really, really well. We see the Great Slave and the Northwest Territories as the next frontier in Canada for critical minerals, and we're really delighted to be a big part of that now.
Yeah, so you're well placed then. Your management team, who have you got on board with you? What are their specialities? Who's the stat? No, you can't answer that question. That wouldn't be fair.
Oh, I can tell you who the standout is, and it's certainly not me. We've got an outstanding young exploration manager, a guy called David Cornish. He's got a huge brain. He does really great work. He's really driven a lot of the stuff that we've done in Australia and South Australia. He's spent a lot of time in Canada this year. He's working closely with the Darouge guys, driving the work that we do on the ground. He's a really good project generator, constantly coming up with new ideas. So we're really blessed to have him on board. On the finance side, Sumay Sain, who sits on the board with me, she's just a doer. Things get done. Nothing is ever not a yes to do. So, I'm really, really lucky to have a strong team around me. And then obviously in Canada, the Darouge guys who are turn on, turn off, but we've got a regular few guys that we use, and we're building a really strong relationship with those guys. So, we run a tight ship. We don't have a lot of excess cost, and we try to keep our cash for work that gets done on the ground.
Yeah, absolutely. Keep the team tight and people and obviously trust, which is great to hear. So the $6 million question, as it were, what should minds and money investors be looking for in relation to Trinex over the next 6 months?
Yeah, so there's a few things that have been done that we're waiting on the final reports or the final interps or the final assays for, and that includes the XRD numbers out of Halo Urey. So how much spodumene have we got in the lithium, and that's pretty important for us to understand the mineralogy. We're also just finalising all of the VTEM interp that we did at our Gibbons Creek uranium project. So we'll see what comes out of that. That's taken a while. The data has been challenging for us to work through. But really, after that, it's all about South Australia in the next few months. So we're going to get the geochemistry finished. We're going to be able to define the limits of the pegmatites. And then really, we need to get the drills in there and have a look at what's underneath the weathered surface. It's going to take a while to find the hottest parts of the pegmatite system. But we're confident that, within about a dozen holes, we'll have pretty good vectors into where we need to be. So, shareholders and investors can be excited about that news flow coming. And, obviously we need to do some work on the share price, and hopefully that drilling and some good results out of that will help us get off the bottom.
Absolutely. So if not by Christmas, then hopefully soon after. So
Absolutely.
amazing, amazing story. Well, thanks so much for joining us, Will. It's been a pleasure to have a conversation with you, and all the best for your results going forward. And thank you for your time.
Thanks, Kimberly. Much appreciated.